Stop for a moment and ask yourself a dangerous question. Why do some people command respect without speaking much, while others talk endlessly and still remain invisible? Most people believe influence comes from speaking louder, explaining more, defending themselves constantly, and proving their worth at every moment. They assume attention creates respect. The truth is far more unsettling. Attention itself is not power. Control of attention is power. The person who understands when to withdraw it, when to deny it, and when silence replaces reaction, quietly, becomes the most influential presence in the room. Many people fear ignoring others because they believe it appears rude or weak. Yet those who understood human nature realize something different. Attention is a limited currency. The strategist does not distribute it freely. Niccolò Machiavelli once wrote that everyone sees what you appear to be, but few truly know what you are. Most people desperately want to be seen. The disciplined individual understands the value of selective invisibility. Ignoring people, when done intentionally, becomes a psychological tool. Not childish silence driven by anger, but deliberate silence driven by control. If you understand this principle, write this affirmation in the comments. My attention is valuable. The first truth many people resist is that attention itself is a form of power. Most individuals answer every message immediately, defend every criticism, and explain themselves to people who never earned the right to question them. This behavior feels polite, yet psychologically, it lowers perceived value. Human beings naturally measure importance through scarcity. Something constantly available becomes ordinary. Something rare becomes valuable. Consider the executive who enters a meeting and speaks only occasionally. He listens carefully, then asks one precise question. The room becomes quiet when he speaks because his words are rare. Now imagine someone who speaks constantly and reacts to every remark. Which person appears more powerful? The difference is restraint. When you ignore petty conversations and meaningless provocations, people begin noticing the absence of your attention. Absence creates tension. Write this in the comments. Silence increases my value. Another uncomfortable truth is that reaction feeds manipulation. Manipulative people survive on emotional responses. They criticize, provoke, and question, because every reaction gives them influence. The moment you react emotionally, you reward their behavior. Imagine a coworker who repeatedly makes subtle remarks about your decisions. The average person defends themselves immediately. The strategist does something far more unsettling. They refuse the bait. No emotional display, no argument, just calm silence. The manipulator suddenly loses control because the expected reaction never arrives. Machiavelli compared leadership to both a lion and a fox. The lion frightens wolves through strength. The fox avoids traps through cunning. Ignoring provocation is the fox avoiding the trap. You are not surrendering. You are refusing to participate. Write this affirmation. I do not reward manipulation. Something interesting happens when you stop reacting to people. Their true intentions begin to reveal themselves. Many relationships survive on constant reassurance and immediate replies. Remove that comfort and hidden motives appear. Someone who respects you remains calm. Someone who depends on controlling you becomes restless. They may accuse you of arrogance or attempt to provoke guilt. These reactions expose character. Silence acts like a mirror reflecting who people truly are when they no longer receive the attention they expect. Write this in the comments. Silence reveals character. Another truth is that respect grows in the absence of easy access. When people have unlimited access to your time and attention, they begin to treat your presence as ordinary. When access becomes selective, your presence becomes valuable. Think about a teacher who repeats instructions endlessly, compared with one who speaks calmly once and expects attention. Which commands the room? The same principle applies everywhere. When your attention becomes measured and intentional, people begin listening more carefully. Machiavelli understood that perception often matters more than explanation. You do not demand respect loudly. You remove behaviors that destroy it. My time is not easily accessed. Ignoring people also creates boundaries without conflict. Many individuals fear confrontation, so they tolerate disrespectful behavior that drains their energy. Silence can function as a boundary, requiring no explanation. When someone repeatedly sends disrespectful messages, you stop responding. When gossip appears, you stop participating. When criticism becomes constant, you stop defending yourself. Your silence communicates something simple. This behavior no longer receives my attention. Over time, some people adjust their behavior, while others quietly disappear. Both outcomes protect your energy. Write this affirmation. I protect my attention. Another overlooked truth is that the calm individual controls the emotional climate. In heated arguments, both sides react louder and louder. The moment one person becomes calm and silent, the conflict begins collapsing. Emotional chaos requires participation. Without participation, it weakens. Calmness becomes psychological strength. The lion does not roar constantly, it roars when necessary. Calmness is my strength. A deeper principle appears when silence is combined with strategic kindness. Ignoring someone does not require cruelty. Cruelty reveals insecurity. Strategic kindness demonstrates control. Sometimes the most unsettling response to criticism is calm politeness without emotional engagement. When people cannot predict your reactions, they lose their psychological advantage. Kindness becomes the visible surface, while silence remains the strategy underneath. My composure is my advantage. Over time, another realization appears. The person who needs nothing becomes difficult to control. Manipulation depends on emotional dependency. Those who constantly seek approval become vulnerable to influence. Ignoring unnecessary interactions slowly trains the mind to detach from that dependency. You stop chasing explanations. You stop needing everyone to understand your decisions. You stop correcting every misunderstanding. Independence appears in that moment. When people sense that you do not depend on their approval, they lose leverage. I do not chase approval. Silence also creates psychological space. Life overwhelms people with noise, messages, arguments, and endless demands for reaction. Ignoring unnecessary interactions restores clarity. Without constant distraction, you begin observing people more carefully. Patterns appear. Motives become clearer. Awareness grows. The fox survives not only through strength, but through observation. I observe more than I react. Ignoring people is not arrogance, it is discipline. It is the ability to decide where your attention belongs. Most individuals react to everything and exhaust their emotional energy on conflicts that never deserved a response. The strategist moves differently. They speak less, observe more, and react rarely. Because of that restraint, their words carry weight when they finally speak. The world often mistakes calm silence for weakness. Few recognize the calculation behind it. When you master the art of ignoring people, many conflicts disappear, manipulators lose interest, and those who remain begin treating your presence with greater respect. They sense something rare, a person who cannot easily be provoked and who does not distribute attention freely. Before you leave, write this final affirmation in the comments. My silence is intentional.